Great. Good morning. I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC's SAC. Let's confirm access. We have Paul Wolf.
Here.
And Mark Catone.
Here.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
This open meeting of the HDC's SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order, posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording available on the town's YouTube channel. We will feature public comment. Materials provided to the members for the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name's called and direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and the taking of minutes easier. We will be conducting votes by roll call. And with that said, let's call the meeting to order at 9:03 on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And is everybody in favor? Paul, you're in favor?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. And we will move on to public comments. Is anybody on the line to comment on anything other than an application before us? Okay, seeing nobody, we'll move on to commissioner comments. Do any of the commissioners have comments they'd like to make?
No comments.
Okay, let's move on to the first order of new business. And I'd like to start by thanking both of the applicants that are here today that were with us 2 weeks ago for being patient. Eli, you were first up here. So you have a number of applications. It looks like we have 6 different applications, but they're all related to sort of the same project. So why don't we turn the floor over to you and let you introduce us to your project here.
My Eagle Scout project, I will be making 6 signs at 4 of the different ponds, all on land bank property around the island. And they'll include the fishing regulations, and I thought to do this just because I see often people keeping undersized fish and excessive amounts of them. And I think this would be a good thing for the island. I made sure they look a little different than what's up here. Just I made sure to use like Terra fonts, and here's all the locations at Maxie's. They'll be at Maxie's Pond, Hammock Pond, Head of Hammock Pond, Long Pond, and my Comet Pond.
Okay. So you say they look a little different than what is here. How so?
Just on the bottom right, that the barcode there doesn't overlap the text, and all on that box to the right of the fish, it all fits within it.
And let's just scroll back up to the application for a moment so we can look at the details about structure. Now, we have 6 applications. Essentially, are all 6 the same sign design and post, just 6 different locations?
Yes, I think it's 3 or 4 of the signs. They include a different species of fish rather than the striped bass, because they do not contain the striper in them. But yeah, they're all the same in gist.
Okay. And so these are mounted on a 4x4 wood post. And how tall would you say the post is intended to be? Do you have a
like roughly, I think it's about 4 feet.
Okay, so we'll need to have that specified. Let me turn it over to the board. We'll let Mark start and then Paul follow up. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, sure. I think we've had signs of similar nature. I think did the application state, I think they're a vinyl sign, is that what I saw in the application?
Yeah.
So they're gonna be screened in vinyl, what are they mounted to, like, is it a
Just a
foam?
freestanding post.
Yeah, but what's the sign material itself? So it's
Oh, it's just plastic.
plastic, yeah, okay. I guess my initial comments is I maybe have some concern with the materiality of the sign itself, but maybe if it were reduced in size, I see it's 16 by 11, maybe it can be 8.5 by 11, you know? It almost looks like that's what the proportions are on the screen of what we're looking at. And I would encourage a reduction in height to maybe, you know, somewhere between 30 to 36. You know, I think it could sit more low profile in these locations. I think we do, as I said, I think there's some public information signs that have been of similar nature that we've seen in the past. And maybe this is similar to those. So those are my initial thoughts and comments.
Thanks, Mark. Paul?
Are any of these signs visible from a public road?
No, they're not.
Okay. Thank you. I think they're a good idea, to be honest with you. But so long as they're not visible and they're in the pond surrounds, I don't have any problems with them. Stop right there on that one, though. I see two signs on the post. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
those are land bank signs that are already there. They're talking about the algal blooms, so I would like to put them somewhat close to them so fishermen are aware of the water.
Okay, okay. Chris, I don't have any problems with this. No
Okay.
questions.
Yeah, I think Mark, you raise a good point with the materials, just because the guidelines do specifically talk about, you know, wood and trying to avoid metal and plastic signs. However, for the sake of getting this content printed, I think it makes sense that it can't be like a painted sign. Eli, do you know what the signs that we're looking at right now, do you know what material those are by any chance?
Those are also plastic. I'm
They are.
using the same manufacturer and the same like materials and everything that the land bank used.
Okay. And do you know the size of those particular signs? There's two of them there, but like each one, do you have an idea of what the size of those signs are?
They're also 11 by 16.
They are. Okay. Okay. And I guess I would open it up to the board. Is there any, Mark, you had more concerns. Do you want to make a motion for?
Yeah, I guess maybe I'll come back to the question if I can, Chris. Can it be? Well, maybe it's two questions. Do the other commissioners share any concern with the scale of sign? Should it be, try and get it smaller? Will it be legible smaller? I want to make sure it does its job. If you both feel fine at 16 by 10 or 11, whatever it was, then so be it. And I think we're maybe all on the same page that maybe it wants to be a little lower in height. I don't know what that sign is there now, but you know, no more than 36 maybe in height. So before I make a motion, I guess just any comments from the other commissions on the scale of sign.
I would agree with you. I thought about the size, but 11 by 17 or 11 by 16 is not, if that's the size of the signs that we're seeing there. And I would also say that the height, I've been to this particular spot, so those signs don't really overwhelm you when you're walking onto that site. So I would say no taller than that post, whatever that height is.
They're
4 feet, I
giving
agree, it's pretty tall.
they're giving me all their posts to use to install these signs.
Okay, but yeah, but as far as how far they're buried into the ground, the top height, I would say that doesn't look like it's a 4 foot high sign by my estimation, but I would say no taller than that. And if that's an 11 by 16, It's not that large, you know.
Okay,
Of course, I
so I
agree
make
with
a
you.
motion,
I'm
Chris.
working about it. There's a lot of information coming across on that sign, so.
Yeah, so I make a motion to recommend approval as submitted with the height not to exceed 36 inches to the top of the sign.
Second,
Okay, so, and we'll just need to note that in the application because it isn't noted anywhere. So, Nikki, if that's something that can be written in on the applications and right now we have 6 different applications. So that's the second question would be, are we going to do a blanket?
I'm
approval for all 6?
comfortable with that.
Okay. Paul, are you okay with that? That
Yep,
this
yes.
motion will apply to all 6 Okay. So we would just need to make sure all 6 applications are updated with the height of 36 inches. Okay, so Mark, you've made a motion. Paul, do you want to second that?
second,
I am in favor. Mark, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Paul?
yes.
Okay. Eli, I'm sorry we didn't put you through more of a test here, but congratulations. Passed the first review. Now, just so that we're clear, this will go to the board tonight, the full HDC. It'll be on their agenda to formally approve. We're recommending that it be approved, but it isn't until they vote tonight that it's officially approved. So you may want to attend that meeting if you're available. It starts at 4, if I'm correct, Nikki, at the public information or the
Yes, that's correct. Eli, I'll send you over the Zoom information. You don't have to go in person, so you can tune in on Zoom at 4.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And that usually happens right at the beginning of the meeting, Eli. So if you plan on being there, make sure you're there on time because it'll happen probably in the first 10 minutes of the meeting.
If I do miss it, is that a big deal or?
No, it'll be reviewed whether you're present or not. So,
All right, thank you.
okay. All right, thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too. Great. The next 5 applications, no, excuse me. We have 29 Center Street, but represented by a few different people. So first we have the Anna Riffle application for the J. Crew. Nikki, did that end up going to the meeting?
No,
Jeez.
Mr. Chair, it did not. It was not reviewed. The HDC, they weren't comfortable per the chair reviewing any applications that have not been vetted by the advisory committee. Just so you all know.
Okay.
For future reference, they won't be comfortable, yeah, without you guys vetting it first.
Okay, thanks. Is anybody on the line for that particular application?
She did pop up earlier, but she's not here anymore, Anna. I'm not sure if you still want to proceed with reviewing it. She wasn't here. I didn't see her at the last one when we didn't have a quorum either, so I'm not really sure. I know it was time sensitive too, so I'm surprised she fell off.
Let's review it since it's sort of chronologically. I think the next application that Ainsley has is going to be in the same location. So let's just start with the order of the agenda here. So we have the J. Crew sign for a temporary sign at 29 Center Street. And this is in the Peter Beaton location. We call it Peter Beaton location, the formerly known as Peter Beaton walkway, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay. So without representation, I'll open it up to the board to discuss. Paul, do you want to start the conversation?
Yes, I'm not comfortable with these temporary signs. According to our guidelines, temporary signs are for events, designed for events. I don't know what this represents. J. Crew is is a company. But they're not located in this location, so I just don't think it meets the guidelines at all. And there's no dates and, oh, I take it back, no. I don't remember if this is the one that doesn't have dates or not.
Got it. And it's creating a new armature as well, just to be making that clear.
Oh, really?
Well, it looks to be
You mean the grass thing?
armature doesn't exist at the moment. Going
Well,
spanning between
The
them.
fact that it's the name of a business, that it needs to be near the door of the business, there's no business back there by the name of J. Crew.
Okay, Mark?
Are we able to zoom in on what is it called Activation 2023? Just to see what they're showing, I assume, precedent of what maybe was done once before, whether that was approved by us or not is questionable. So I think they've taken that existing arch and applied some sort of faux vegetation to it. I tend to agree with Paul. I think this is a bit atypical and it falls outside our guidelines in terms of signage. I think if they want to come back to us with something that's a bit more consistent with the guidelines, we could review that, but I have I have reservations with the application as presented before us now.
Okay, and as far as precedent is concerned, I know that this type of sign was never approved in that location, or I'm fairly certain. We have, however, approved a temporary sign here, which was that one that was mounted in the planter. Nikki, was that ever shared with the applicant, or are they aware of that sign having been previously approved? I'm curious if that's sort of the precedent that we should be sharing with applicants in this location. If it's
I did not share that with the applicant. I'm just checking my files right now just to see if they ever came in, because I see activation 2023 and then 2024 activation. It's almost like they came with this one, but I can't imagine. But let me just check. Just give me a second. Just want to make sure. I'm not finding anything for that.
Yeah, I don't recall having ever seen that sign applied for, and Mark and Paul, you guys don't recognize that sign, right?
No.
Oh, I mean, that would have, I think, been an active discussion point if that had come before us. So we are looking at an application that really doesn't comply with the guidelines in many ways, in my opinion. We've always kind of allowed for something to exist, or not always, we have previously allowed for something to exist at this location, but utilizing the planter and the previously approved size of the sign that was used in that planter. So I would also be uncomfortable creating a new armature and a new freestanding. I mean, this is just a type of sign that doesn't even exist on the island anywhere. As far as being sort of I don't know what you call it, archway sign of sorts. So
I make a motion to hold for revisions.
okay, now I do know, Nikki, this is basically going off. Their timetable was like next week, right?
Yeah, it was pretty soon. That's why I'm a bit surprised. I mean, I saw her pop on. I know they're based in California, so I know there's a time difference, but even so, I'm Surprised she wasn't here just to, plead her case. But it was supposed to go up pretty soon, I think next week. And then
Yeah.
going forward, I will have, if it's like temporary signs, I want to try to have them put the dates on the application just so it's clear. That's a good point as well.
So we could hold for revisions. I'm not sure that's going to be of any benefit to them, but that's the motion, Mark, hold for revisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, I mean, we could deny it, but I don't know, we're an advisory board, we're not,
Right.
we're just recommending that this be held for further review or revisions, so
Agreed.
that's all I think we can do.
Right, we can't redesign it for them.
Second,
Well, okay. I would agree. I think looking at the precedent would be a wise advice for these folks, but motion to hold has been made. Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
Paul, you're in favor?
I
I am as well. And so we have Ainsley here for the same location, correct?
Yeah, same location. So it is an existing archway that the hotel had recommended we use as signage. Obviously, they don't know the details behind what's been approved or not in the past, but they had suggested it. And so we tried to follow the guidelines and not use acrylic or plastic or anything like that. It would be wooden. It's very short term. It's from July 31st, which is the day of the event, and then it's taken down on August 4th. So I don't know if that makes a difference, and then the planters are just brought in from a local florist, and easily removed if needed. They're not adhered to anything.
Okay. So have you looked or are you aware of the temporary signage that has been used by other applicants with that planter? There's a planter to the left of this.
Yes.
entrance.
There was a bank. I think it might have been a bank
Yes.
that was previously approved. Yeah, so I actually made the assumption that I think it was J. Crew and Sam Edelman had done signage on this archway before, and I assumed that they had got it approved. But after reading the details, I thought I'm not going to use acrylic. I'll stick to wood. It's super short term. It wouldn't be affecting anything. So I thought I would play it more safe, but I also assumed they got that approved. So take that with a grain of salt.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen this type of application come through our process before. So for like an archway created sign
There.
or supported sign. The bank, it was actually sponsored by the bank. It was a pop-up for, I think it was like a women's crafts type of event. The bank ended up having to remove all of their bank related information because that was more sort of like sponsorship information, which is also discouraged. It's really meant to advertise the event, not necessarily the sponsors. So I believe that went through Nikki, right? It was approved as a simple
Yeah.
sign, which is really the intention of the temporary signs. So with that background, I'll open it back up, and I think we're looking at Mark and then Paul.
So it's wood with painted letters or?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I followed the color guidelines too. So we actually changed it so that it was more neutral and
What is the color?
sorry.
What is the color?
It's like a neutral kind of sand almost. So we try not to go with anything too flashy or anything like that.
Yeah. Curious if there's enough head height under that, but.
Yeah, we had a local someone who makes signs on the island go do measurements and everything, and he said it was good. So I mean, I'm testing it, but yes, I think it should be.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I guess Sam Edelman also didn't get theirs approved, which is so interesting. Because they also had like a sign, an acrylic sign that was like similar to the J. Crew one a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. But also hanging from that.
Sure. I mean, I appreciate the applicant before us for the temporary sign. It is, excuse me, it's a short window.
And we are hosting an event. So like, to be clear, it's like there's a 4-day kind of event that's happening. So it is kind of directing people in that sense too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm honestly slightly torn. It doesn't terribly bother me. It doesn't completely comply with guidelines. It's an odd application in terms of the way they're using the armature. We don't typically encourage signage like this. Again, I think we'd be back to a planter or something off to the side and low. There would typically be a border, probably try to incorporate into this, but again, it's not a type that we even describe or encourage in the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little, I'm having a hard time getting behind it, given it doesn't comport with anything in our guidelines, but at the same time, it's what, up for like 5 days, 4 days. But I'm a little fearful of the precedent it could set by then making a recommendation for its approval for other pop-ups down the road or temporary signage. I'd rather come up. What is White Elephant the technically the applicant here? Is that correct?
Jenny Bird.
Okay, they're the owners, property owner.
No, so the owner is Jenny Bird, but I am
Okay.
on the team. Yeah.
Got it. I mean, I just feel like we
Mark,
should just come up with
just to
one
interrupt, I
permanent
think you're asking,
option so that if this continues in the future with pop-ups or change outs, there's a signage that's, methodology that's already been approved, and it should be just a very straightforward review going forward. That's my opinion. I'd be curious what the other commissioners say, but a little torn on this one, and then the precedent setting that sets us up for future pop-ups.
and Mark, just to clarify, when you're asking, so technically the applicant would be the owner of the property, and that's what you're asking,
sorry.
Mark. Yeah, so the owner of the property, is it NIR or White Elephant Properties, or is that who owns the?
Faraway Hotels, and then it's the owner is, let me just see.
Yeah. Is that
All
Blue
right, so it's
Flag?
far
then?
away. It's Blue
Yeah.
Flag, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So a good point, Mark, right? It would be nice to sort of formalize this location if it's going to become an event space, which this is the third application this season, so apparently it is. Okay, Paul, what are your thoughts?
What is Jenny Bird?
It's a female-founded jewelry company that's based in Canada. So we're based out of
Okay,
Toronto.
okay. So it's a company. There's no location here.
We have actually no freestanding stores. This is our first pop-up.
Yeah, well, that's my concern. The same as I raised with the prior, the J. Crew sign, is that J. Crew didn't have a facility there. Jenny Bird doesn't have a facility there, and our sign guidelines call for the name of the business to be at or near an entrance to the store. So really, there's no provision for this kind of a sign, period. I agree with what Mark said, but I'm 100% because I'm concerned we'll have 10 more of these before Labor Day, and if it's some way it could be called some other kind of an event name, and maybe drop down lower, not at the top of 2 posts. I could probably go along with it, but Jenny Bird is not an event. So I don't know what I would go in there for. So I don't.
If I may, Chris, I mean, I just feel like there are 2 posts to form the arch. I would, The two thoughts going forward, and I think this maybe is a larger discussion with Blue Flag. Either there's an armature in place on one of those posts where they could switch out signage for different pop-ups, right? A little bit like Petticoat Row, the signs next to there, you know, and there's an armature, and then tenants pop those in and out. Or, you know, thinking back to when it was Peter Beaton, it was the planter sign off the left, which there is precedent for. So I think they need to come back to us with, you know, this is what we will use in the future. We will then, for temporary signage, it will fall within these armatures in the future. The more I look at this image, the more I struggle with that, and the concern that it sets precedent. And somebody could come back to us later on a more permanent ask, you know, saying, well, we allowed it temporarily, you should allow it permanently somewhere else. And I just think maybe it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, Mark, that's my concern, is it's essentially a freestanding sign, you know. I feel bad for the applicant here today, because you're dealing with the, you know, what should really be on the landlord's to-do list, as far as creating this, as you say, Mark, like a pre-approved sort of, this is how this location is going to be handled, almost like a master sign plan on multi-tenant buildings is handled. My concern is that the whole freestanding component of it really appears to be a freestanding sign. And those are, you know, they're not allowed anywhere on the island, and especially to put one in the middle of the historic core just seems like disregarding the guidelines altogether. So time is of the essence here. Of course, Ainsley, you've got an event to prepare for. Just throwing it out there, since there is this previously approved type of sign in the planter with a, you know, that has been approved even for this season, would using that, I'm asking you, Ainsley, would using that sign, if you were to quote unquote revise this application to ask for that approval, work for you? I'm throwing out ideas, not trying to redesign.
Yeah, no, totally. I can go back to the team and make the recommendation and just say that that's what we should kind of follow suit. I think that the problem was that we thought everything else was approved in the past years, so we thought we were like safe following that. But yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah. And I think we'll have to reach out to Blue Flag. It's not really our job to do that, but perhaps you will, since I'm sure you'll be talking to them. But
Exactly.
it should become a more established master sign plan, so to speak, for this property, so that future tenants, temporary tenants or permanent ones, know what's allowed here. So let me just ask that of Mark and then Paul, if a sign were in this same sort of color scheme, font scheme, be designed to fit in that same size planter sign that was approved for the pop-up earlier this year, what would your feelings be about that?
I could support that, and then ideally there's some consistency with that. So, and it's 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is. I again, I appreciate the temperate nature of it. So,
Yeah, Paul?
I could agree with Mark, although I really concerned about the precedent, and it's still a freestanding sign wherever you put it. But
Right.
I don't want that to be the standard for the future. I think.
and the only thing I'd appreciate here, it's always been a unique location where you can actually see the edifice from the sidewalk. So they've always needed some sort of sign of presence on the sidewalk itself to get you back. And Peter Beaton did that for years and years and years. So I think, and this is a unique situation where that does work. So
You need to get an MG.
Okay, so Ainsley, you can modify your sign application. Okay. Nikki, if that were just a modification made during this meeting, could we motion on it? And pull, or should we just? What do you think? Oh, yeah, and you're muted at the moment.
What would you be modifying? Just the,
To
Uh,
go, it would just become a planter, like how the other one was approved, like just in the planter, so it wouldn't be on the archway. That's my
okay, yeah, if you could do it, Chris.
Yeah,
'Cause it
I
would
think we've
almost be
done
like
like that.
you're setting like the condition, like yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, if there's a motion for that, we might be able to move this.
Yeah, I would make a motion to recommend approval with the signage modified such that it is placed in the planter at an appropriate scale, with the white lettering and the proposed colored sand background. Like to give it some dimension. I'm guessing a little bit, you know, is it 6 by
Why don't
12,
we, I mean,
16?
we approved one for the pop-up a month ago or so, do you want to use
Okay,
that?
so maybe the language is
yeah.
consistent with previous approvals for the planter location. How about that?
That's what I'm thinking, and then we would ask Nikki for just a staff approval if they submit the redesigned sign. Is that okay with you? Just to confirm it, so Ainsley, you'd submit a plan to put in the file, and we'd.
Yes, to be placed in the file for the record.
Okay. Paul, you're okay with that? All right, thank you. I think that's a good approach for this, and then we'll have to talk with the landlord. So Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
And then Paul?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I am as well. So Ainsley, this will go to tonight's meeting with that recommendation, but it'll need a revised plan for the file as far
Okay.
as, yeah, you can just pull or, review the previously approved application
Sure.
for
Okay.
size. And
Yep, that sounds
Okay.
good. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Great.
Chris,
Yes, Paul.
can we get on the agenda a discussion of this location in the sense of a master
Yeah.
plan for future reference?
Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea. Nikki, can we draft? I'll send you an email, actually, just requesting contact with the landlord for future applicants.
Okay, sure, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ainsley.
Bye.
So now we have also 29 Center Street LLC, same company, but we have 31 Center Street projecting sign. Is anybody on the line for that application? This is the Long Wharf Supply Company.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the representative from Blue Flag.
Okay. Looking at the application there, it's size appropriate, made of wood, painted, beveled edge, white and blue, existing bracket. Let's scroll down and just take a look at the sign itself. Colors are appropriate. Okay. And that is going, is there a picture of the building from afar? I saw the bracket photo. Is there one of the entire storefront? There we go. Okay, so this is that basement entrance.
Yeah, where Dario was for years.
No, it's actually across the
No?
street. This was what was
Oh,
it?
yeah, sorry. I know where we are. Yeah, across the street.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so why don't we go Paul and then Mark?
Okay, I really don't have any problems with it, Chris. As long as it
Right.
meets the guidelines.
I would
Looks
agree
like-
with Paul. No concerns.
Yeah. I agree as well. Looks like it's right in line with what's been there before. Any motions?
Motion approved.
Second,
I'm gonna do that. All right, let's give Mark the motion, Paul the second. Paul, you in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And I am as well. Okay, great. So next we have the Martin House LLC, 61 Center Street, Garrison Beal. I saw Garrison's on the line.
I am. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, rest of the council.
Morning. So you have two applications here. Let's start with 61 Center Street. What are we looking at?
Correct. Yeah, we just recently refurbished both the inns with Nantucket looms, and in our quest to make them that property look great again, we're updating our signs a little bit just to kind of reflect our use of guests' use of all the properties, so they know where they're going. So just a little update. Basically, the signs are a little bit smaller than what's currently there, and that's about it.
Okay, so these armatures exist. Signs were hanging in their place previously. Okay. And they're made of what material?
Wood.
Wood. Okay. And are they painted?
The painted throughout the names. The Martin is engraved, and the hippocampus logo is painted.
Okay. All right. Mark and
I don't think I have any concerns. I appreciate the design. Yeah, no comment.
Paul?
Is this replacing an existing sign? It's a
Correct.
freestanding sign.
Correct.
Probably never approved, but it's probably grandfathered. My only concern is I don't like the by Graydon House words on there. I don't think it's appropriate, but it's not for us to discuss the content, so I have no problem.
Okay. I think it's a good looking sign. Yeah, Paul, I think that's gonna be pretty small. That font size is gonna be pretty, based on the size of the sign. But I would be open to a motion.
Move approval.
Okay, Mark, I second that.
Second, yes.
Okay, and yes, and Paul, you're in favor?
Yes.
Okay, I am as well. Thanks, Garrison. Now you have another sign application at 9 North Water Street.
Correct. Essentially the same as the previous one. Same
Okay.
design and same like for like. It's actually a lot smaller than it's showing on right there. It's just seeing the dimensions, but it's just replacing the current for updated new.
Okay.
I'm seeing that in the application there wasn't a full sign there. If you want me to share my screen to show you what the full sign looks like, I'd be more than happy to.
Okay, so it's essentially same size as the last the sign we just looked at?
Essentially the same size, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches bigger, or half a foot bigger. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Go back down. Go back down, please, to the application. Okay, thank you.
I will say this is a two-story projecting sign, a two-story building projecting sign. The guidelines, I don't know what was there before, but the guidelines allow for a 5 square foot sign. This one comes out to 7 square feet if it's 36 by 28, just to put that into everybody's mind.
And this would be actually smaller than what's currently there.
Okay.
For reference.
Yeah, which may not have been built to spec or might have
Correct.
grown through the years as it was renovated. I'm not sure, but it would be nice to keep everything in compliance with the guidelines, since that's what we're here to do. So that's my comment on the sign. Let me say, Paul, you have any thoughts?
No, I have no problem with the design. If the size is a problem, I'll ask, has the sign been made yet?
Garrison,
Yes,
new signs are.
yeah, sorry. Yes, Paul, it has been made.
Oh, it has been.
All right. I don't have any problem with it.
Thank you.
Mark?
Yeah, I'd agree with Paul.
Okay. So we're okay with the 36 by 28 size.
Yeah, I recognize that it does fall outside the guidelines. I think given it sits over a fence, given it's on a two-story structure, and it's potentially made, I don't think I have a concern.
Okay. Motions?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second,
Okay. And Mark, you're in favor?
Yes.
Paul, you're in favor?
aye.
I'll give in to you guys and say I'm in favor as well. So keep it unanimous. Thanks, Garrison.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have anybody on the line for Bank of America?
No, but I'm on the line for the garden club and I unfortunately have to leave at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Is there any way?
Debbie, I see that. That's why I was actually asking. I'm going to make an executive call here. We'll move Garden Club up if we don't have anybody on
Thank
for
you.
Bank of America. So what do you have for us to review?
Okay, I met all of you last year. We have the same signs as we had last year. This is our 68th annual house tour. And we have temporary signs up from 10, well, we were asking to have temporary signs up from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon on one day, and then they're gone. These signs that you're looking at right now, these are banners, and they are roughly 6 feet tall. They go on the private property in front of each house that is on the tour. And the sign that comes up next, the littler sign, that one, that is about, I think I said it was 3 feet tall. And that is just posted, we're asking for permission for it to be posted 4 locations, 4 junctions. And it's just basically a directional thing as the people walk around the area. They know which road to turn down and where another house is going to be. As I say, they're put up at 10 in the morning, they're taken down at 4 in the afternoon.
Okay. Thanks for bringing them before us. And with these last year, remind me how the approval process went. Did you get approval from us on these last year?
Yes, in fact, I think it was Paul who said in the end, it's only up for 5 hours or something like that. And so I was very grateful. As I say, these are not new. We've used them for many, many years. I would say at least 12 or 15 years. Doesn't mean that means they should be approved, but something that has been approved repeatedly over the years. They're in green and white. They sort of meld in with the landscape. That's
Okay.
and
No,
they're
again,
gone. They're gone
appreciate that
quickly.
they're before us. So Paul, do you have any thoughts this year?
did we approve the flag?
Banners. Oh, yeah, you did.
Shame on me for not remembering.
Yes, I'm trying to pull it up. I have the approval. It was approved, but my computer's glitching, but it was approved. I did double check yesterday.
Okay.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Because we generally would not approve of one of those kind of flags. If it were applied for, so when they get old and worn, talk to us first. It's
When
the
they get
kind of
older, worn
flag you
what?
see
Sorry?
on the mainland in front of a used car dealer.
Oh, no, they're much classier than that.
Don't take it personally. Okay, I don't have any problems. Questions?
There they are. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no concerns. I appreciate the applicants coming before us for an event that's only a few hours long. So,
This was the previous approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No concerns. I'd make a motion for approval in all locations as submitted.
Second,
Okay. All you're in favor?
aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. So Debbie,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
I
let's
hate
move
those
back
flags.
over to 18 Sparks Avenue, we have two wall signs from Bank of America being applied for. So one on the front of the building, one on the parking lot side of the building. Let's see what they're, so 9 inches, 9.9 square feet, okay. Aluminum lettering, are these just the applied letters, Nikki? Yeah. Okay.
What am I missing? Is this, aren't these already there? I'm trying to figure out what's new here.
They are there.
Yeah, maybe they're just updating them. I don't recall if they're in disrepair or not, but
I went there 2 days ago.
They're just updating them. Letter said to be removed and replaced, wall to be patched and painted as required.
So is it just a like-kind replacement? Is that the
Pretty,
act-
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why they're wasting their money because there's nothing wrong with what's there now.
Huh.
But
you know banks, Paul.
they can do some things.
Any
If
motions?
I understand this application correctly, I don't think I have any concerns.
Okay.
I think we should move approval.
Motion for approval by Paul.
Seconded?
I mean, they are aluminum, they're aluminum letters, just so that we're all aware of that. but-
Yeah, I think we've done metal letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this case. Actually,
Right.
confirm.
Exactly. These would not be easy to maintain in wood or carve
Yeah.
in the first place. Okay, so we have a motion by Paul, a second by Mark,
Yes.
and Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. And just to be clear, that motion is for both the front and back of the building, two applications.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. I think that concludes our applications. Enforcement, any updates on that you can share, Nikki?
I don't have any updates right now. I was away for a while. But if again, I encourage anyone, you have anything that needs to be enforced, please send it to Mr. Chair and then he can pass it on to myself and Leslie Snell. But so far, so good. I will send you guys my updated spreadsheet of the ones that I've done before I went away. But that's all I have for right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, please send that spreadsheet so we know where we stand, because there's so many out there that we could be duplicating each other's efforts, and
Okay, I will, Paul.
that'll be very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't forget Kevin.
All right, Mark, any final comments? Any motions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, everybody in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
I know.
It's good thing she's in the background. We're supposed to look in behind.